the King's Palace tour, which is a ranger guided tour through one of the most decorated areas of Carlsbad Cavern itself. And that you have to pay a little bit extra for, but it's well worth seeing because you also get a lot more one-on-one with the ranger. Unlike a lot of the other tours that you can do, this one is not self-guided. It's one that a ranger will actually take you through and describe a lot more about the geology and the hydrology, and you can ask questions about the history and how the cave is being explored. So it's a lot more interactive.
So Stan, tell me a little about the King's Palace tour. What's special and unique about this?
The neat thing about the King's Palace tour is you get to see an area of the cave where there's lots of formations that are very close to the trail. That's why it's a guided part of the cave, is to protect those formations, but it's neat because you get to see the formations and you've got a ranger that's explaining how they formed and what's going on in the cave.
This is really incredible. I mean, every turn, every corner that I came around, I just saw something new and exciting. So can you tell me a little bit about these formations in here and what's special about them?
The formations in this area are just really profuse. You can see there's a lot of stalactites hanging from the ceiling, stalagmites growing up from the floor, and then columns where they meet. And one of the neat things about Carlsbad Cavern is just the density of formations. They're just incredible density, really beautiful.
Well, show us more. I can't wait to see what's around the next corner.
Okay, great.
It's really a great way to see the park, Stan. I mean, really getting up close with a ranger and having them really tell you all about the little interesting details of the park. So behind me, you'll see something that's fairly unique here in the park. You've got some stalactites that are actually crooked, if you will. They're not vertical like all the other stalactites you see here in the caverns. The reason why is because these stalactites here were growing on the rock before it fell, and that's why they're kind of off at an angle, like you see here.
Carlsbad Cavern has a lot of formations that you see in a lot of commercial caves. You've got the stalactites, which are the ones that hang from the ceiling, and you've got stalagmites, which are the ones that grow up from the floor, and when they connect together, they're considered columns. And so the generic term for all those hangy downies and sticky uppies and sticky outy things is speleothem. That's the fancy term for it. Or you also hear it called cave decorations, cave formations, a lot of different names for it. One of the things that makes Carlsbad not unique but special is the sheer numbers of these cave formations and the sheer size of it. You know, obviously you have a very large cave passage, so that allows much larger speleothems to actually form. So we have very tall columns, you know, in excess of 65 feet tall. We've got large stalagmites. We've got beautiful cascades of flowstone that go for hundreds of feet. In addition, there's some kind of more subtle things that you can see. As you can see in the wall behind me, there's actually popcorn, which is this lumpy looking stuff that's actually formed from a mineral called aragonite. Chemically, it's the same as the limestone around it, but it's got a little bit different crystal shape to it. And if you were to actually look really close at the popcorn, you would actually see that it's made up of tiny little needles of aragonite, and that's the reason we have so much of that here is because we've got a large natural entrance, and what that does is it brings cold, dry air down into the cave, and that causes evaporation. So as the water's seeping out of the rock, it evaporates relatively quickly and forms this popcorn. That popcorn gives kind of a fairyland feel to a lot of the lower areas of the cave, places where you would normally see just regular stalagmites. You've got this popcorn growth all on the outside of it, so it kind of makes it look kind of surreal and almost as if it were created by Hollywood.
Okay, adventurers, thanks for joining us at adventure-crew.com. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, you can always get more information on Carlsbad National Park at www.adventure-crew.com/parks.